Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back. I'm home from Spain, a week away. Feels like a month. It feels like I've been away for ages. I guess that's what happens when you're so used to interacting with your audience every day. Welcome back, everyone. Good to be home. Good to see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. We've got lots to get through. I'm going to be throwing open the show today to my audience. So if you want to come on when I put the link in the chat, please feel free to do so. Come and say hello. Get things off your chest. You will be made welcome. The main topic of today is, look, are you afraid of social media these days? Are you afraid of posting what you think and what you feel on social media? I've just been out in Spain for a week and I bumped into so many people out there, so many that are now living in Spain, staying in Spain, because they're frightened. They're frightened of being back home. They've had enough and they just want to live and feel free and feel safe. And it really struck me, it really shocked me actually, how many people were saying the same thing. Bernadette saying eyes are opening. They are indeed, Bernadette. They are for sure. The problem is that so many people are now leaving the UK. Thanks, Steve. And as you know, my daughter and her partner are going to live in Spain in January, maybe February, depending on how long everything takes to sort out. But the Spanish embassy, they were told 350, 400 people a day are leaving the UK to go and live in Spain, which is absolutely crazy. Thanks, Aussie Neil. And it just got me wondering how many of you are feeling in danger here at home, especially about posting on social media. Now, I was going to talk about one person in particular today, who has pleaded guilty and is now in custody for a social media post. But a few people highlighted the fact that perhaps he wasn't the best example to be talking about. But nonetheless, what he's actually in jail for remains very, very frightening indeed. Paul says, I look like a spaceman. Cheers, mate. So let me put the link to the show in the chat there. If you want to join me today, the link is in the chat. You're more than welcome. The only rules is that you have to remain polite. If you've got a view that opposes mine, that's absolutely fine. We can have a chat. We can have a debate, as long as you keep it decent. Otherwise, we'll just have to kick you out. Pom Pom says, please, Trump, offer asylum. My bags are packed. Wow. Would you really go? DJ, thank you. The Cresta Court Hotel in Altrincham has now had an outbreak of scabies. Nobody is allowed in or out. Wow. I don't know about you guys. I like these random shows where it's just you and me. So if anyone wants to hop on today, again, I'll pop the link in the chat and you're more than welcome to come on. Let's welcome our first guest. That is James. James, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Paul. How you doing, mate?
I'm very well, thank you. Let me just welcome in Jeff as well. Jeff, how you doing?
Oh, cheers, thanks. Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
Good, good. And we'll bring in one more for the moment. That is Rolly, one and only. Right, good afternoon, guys. If anyone else wants to come on, I'd hold on just for a little bit. Let me speak to these three gentlemen. James, good afternoon. What have you got on your mind, my friend?
Well, I've got everything on my mind at the moment, Paul, with the current situation.
Haven't we just? Yeah, fire away, mate.
I'm not afraid of being blocked by social media. I mean, Facebook has just wiped me out completely after 11 years for reposting Tommy stuff. And that was a bit of a shock, no warning, just a complete wipeout. my construction industry page, my crafty company page, where I'm trying to reach out, all because I'm just reposting what's out there, Paul.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't like it, do they?
No.
I'm wondering if that might change when Trump comes in. I mean, it's possible. I mean,
Well,
look.
I think the ripples are already happening, Paul. He's dropped his penny in the water, and the ripples are already happening, and the rats are scurrying all over the place, in my opinion. And we're actually seeing that now by them hitting the normal public.
Absolutely. Jeff, good afternoon, mate.
How do you? Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Jeff.
Oh,
What's
good.
on your mind, brother?
Well, just trying to think. Yeah, there's lots of things on my mind too. But because you was talking about people wanting to move to Spain, I wish I could, but I just don't meet the criteria, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Well, most people don't these days. At the end of the day, if it wasn't for doing what I'm doing right now, I'd be on the next plane. But I'm in a position where I can't start what I've started and desert it halfway through. I've got to see it out.
No, that's good. That's good of you, Paul. I wouldn't have any qualms about it now. I'm 68. I want a bit of peace in my life. My area is just totally infected.
Yeah.
I can't sleep at night time now because of my neighbours.
Yeah.
So it's really bad.
Joe, I know you're in the background there, Joe. I'll fetch you in just a moment. Rolly, how you doing?
I'm doing great, Paul. How are you?
Very well, my friend. Whereabouts are you in the country?
I'm from Liverpool, mate.
You'd never guess.
Yeah, what I want to know is about the assisted dying bill. Now that we've got that in, what about bringing back the death penalty? I'm pretty sure our prisons would be empty pretty quick.
They would. You know what? This assisted dying bill is actually a good subject. It's one I haven't touched on so far. Before we go any further, let's just do a little round robin here on the people that are in here. James, are you in favour or against assisted dying?
I was in favour. I've changed my mind now, Paul.
Okay. Jeff?
I'm against it. I'm sorry, but I'm just absolutely against it.
Rolly?
Well, I'm on the fence because I have been suicidal before. So I know that, sometimes you just want to end it.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it's right. It's just one of them. I think it's down to everyone's individual choice.
Yeah. Let me see if I can bring Joe in. I don't think he or she has got their camera on. Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you well, Joe. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Keep up the good work, Paul.
Thank you.
If it wasn't for you, I don't know, I'd feel completely, totally isolated. I really would.
Joe,
yeah.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
And you're such a kind, courageous man. I actually did see you once at one of Tommy's demos, but I was too shy to come and introduce myself to you. But I recognised you because you're a very young, handsome, tall man.
Oh, Joe, keep going. Keep going.
Yeah.
How much is she getting paid?
The check's in the post, darling. The check's in the post.
I'm not. I'm sorry I'm not showing my face. I'm not decent at the moment, and I don't want to scare your viewers away.
No,
so,
you're all right, Joe. I'm good at doing that already. Joe, where do you stand on the assisted dying thing?
To be honest with you, and I don't want to go on about me, I find it really, really scary. I suffer with an autoimmune disease, which causes a disability. It's progressive, it's chronic.
Yeah.
I don't trust this government. I think it should be up to the individual to make that personal choice, and everyone's different. And I'm just very, very afraid that it's going to get abused. And if you look to Canada, which have had this for several years now, they're actually using any old thing. If you're depressed, it's really been abused. I don't trust these politicians as far as I could throw them, and I feel that it will be abused. And for people like myself, it wouldn't surprise me further down the line if they say to me, like, oh, have you considered this?
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to get better. Even though I'm on medication, it's something that's not going to improve. I would decline as time goes by. So no, I definitely, sorry if it's been a bit a long-winded answer, but that's my answer and that's my reason why. So
No, look, I understand that totally. Do you know something? I think it was it James that said he was for it and now he's against it. Here's Here's the
Reason-
deal. Here's the deal. It's really, really tough for me. And this is tough to recall as well. I watched my father die of a disease. And towards the end of his life, let's just say I would like him to have gone a lot more peacefully and without the pain that he suffered in the end. And to be honest, they kept him alive for weeks when,
Paul,
you know,
Paul, I actually think they've already done it. I mean, you know, my mother was 90 when she died. That was in 2017. And I think they already they do it. I mean, they fitted a machine with an hypodermic needle in that had a motor on it that just slowly pushed stuff into my mother. And my mother just went to sleep,
yeah,
you know, and that was after months and months of pain. You know, I mean, my mother was in a terrible state. I didn't
But
want it.
would she have chose that?
Yeah.
Would she have chose to die better than that? That's what it's a very strange situation for everybody.
It is, yeah. It is. I don't know whether. No, my mum was a fighter. I mean, she didn't want to go.
No.
She didn't want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, I was very lucky because my mum, right up until maybe a couple of weeks before she actually passed away, she was still here in her mind.
yeah.
You know, she was very good. So
See,
she was a fighter.
My grandfather was a week short of his 100th birthday when he died. My grandfather on my mum's side. And I remember him laying in a hospital bed. I don't want to be morbid, you know, we'll get on to more cheery things later on. But I remember him laying in hospital saying, I'm nearly 100 years old. Why can't I just go? You know, he'd had enough. The problem is that, as Joe says, I don't trust this government.
No.
I don't trust the doctors. And I don't trust a lot of families who have one thing on their mind, and that's the
especially
will.
if you've got money.
That's the will, exactly.
Yeah.
Can I just interject there as well quickly? Sorry.
Yeah.
They actually do have something similar. It's called the Liverpool Pathway. There's already that in place, that sort of assisted dying. I'll tell you why, because they tried doing it to my mum. My mum's been really ill for a very, very long time. It will reach a point where she will need palliative care. Now, my dad, God bless him, he will fight her corner where it's needed. And she was in hospital and they thought that she was on her way out, and then she'll turn a corner. That's the other thing. She's been in hospital so many times, and they've actually said to my dad many a time, be prepared, we don't think she's got long to live. And then all of a sudden she'll turn a corner and she's still going. They actually, without his consent, it was only because he was going through some certain paperwork, that it had a do not resuscitate and some other things. Don't quote me on all of it. And he absolutely went nuts. He went mad because it was almost like they were giving up on her. And luckily enough that he was able to interject when he did, because she might not be with us now. And she's been poorly for a long, long time. And I feel that life, no matter what, is precious. It's like the actual disease that I suffer with, believe you me, Paul, and I'm not in any way saying that I'm the same as everybody else, because everyone deals with pain differently. I can sometimes be in really acute pain. I don't know whether you've heard of that gangster Dave Courtney. He actually had the same condition as me, and he shot himself because he couldn't cope with the pain.
Yeah.
I don't want to die, though. I don't want someone turning around and saying to me, you know, look,
Your time's up.
Yeah.
But isn't that what this does now, Paul? This now gives them the green light to carry on their neglect. Because actually that's what it is. Neglecting the system of actually protecting people who are in pain. I've been in pain now since I had my triple heart bypass in 2020. Then the COVID vaccine got hold of me. I'm on morphine 24/7 now. They're quite happy just to leave me at home on morphine and steroids and forget about me. Just like that woman said there.
I know the exact feeling.
Yeah.
They caught me. If
That's
I
the
had the
exact
gun,
same
Paul,
as what's happened to me.
Mm.
yeah, if I had the gun, Paul, I would bloody do it, mate. Because what they're doing to me, mate.
Unbelievable.
Yeah,
I mean,
I got the vaccine. I was perfectly healthy until I got the vaccine, and then
bless you.
my life fell apart. I'm on 70
Oh.
milligrams of morphine a day, 1800
Yeah.
milligrams of gabapentin. You know, my
Yeah.
life's destroyed because of it, and I know exactly.
guys, just one thing.
I really do.
Rolly,
Sorry
just
to hear that.
guys, just one thing. I just got to warn you against, if we can avoid using the word COV, yeah, you know the one I mean.
Right,
Because
sorry.
Yeah.
it's no
apologise.
problem, but YouTube get really funny about it and
Yeah.
they start blocking the videos.
Just say jabby jabby.
Jabby jabby will do. Jabby jabby will
Jabby.
do.
Or lovely
That's it.
jubbly, yeah.
But this is what I don't get, and this is what frustrates me. I cannot get into my head. I cannot fathom. I cannot understand how you can have a group of people in Parliament. I don't know how many of them there is. If you add them all up, someone would tell me. What is it, 500 or 600 or something? And you put them all together as a group, and none of them are interested in taking care of our sick.
Interlopers.
They
I
won't
cannot-
take responsibility for their actions. That's the problem.
No,
I
they're
can't.
not.
I can't fathom it. As a basic human being, as a human being, when you grow up, you are taught that if someone is not well, you take care of them.
Yeah.
You help them. You look after them. You do your best for them, even if it's your bloody neighbour. You knock on their door and say, "Are you okay today? Do you need anything? Do you need a bit of shopping?"
Yeah.
And we've got a government. All these people with their posh voices and their Oxbridge University bloody educations, and they haven't got the sense or the heart to go,
Morality.
you know, morality. Let's look
Yeah.
up now.
Morality's dead.
Morality, Paul.
Morality's dead, and there's no. They don't give a monkeys about any of us, and I feel like they're trying to pit us all together and turn on each other. And it's almost like that good old divide and conquer thing.
Yeah.
It's like
Well, they've
blame
already
them,
created massive division
blame
between
them,
everybody.
and call it conspiracy, whatever. But they don't care about any of us.
No, they don't. They don't care, and it blows my mind. I don't. Do you know what? Back in the Second World War with the Nazis, I often wondered how they got all those people to buy in to doing what they did. How did they?
Propaganda.
Propaganda is
Exactly.
happening now.
Exactly.
They did it
Exactly.
through the jibby jabby. They done it. They use all the advertising techniques. They use all the scare tactics, the fear mongering. Even now, I don't watch the news. I don't watch any of the television. I can't. I'd end up throwing my televisions out into the garden if I could. I can't cope with it because it's just fear porn. All of it. It's all depressing. And you can understand when you get the vulnerable and the elderly, because if you look at the vulnerable, the elderly, they're a very trusting nation. They were brought up in a completely different era to us. And when they're having that thrown at them 24 hours a day, because don't forget, some of them were on their own and the television could be a lifeline for them. Is it any wonder? And, then they're so trusting as well, and they believe everything that they're told. Yeah. And you get all these professional ads, and you get all these, I call them echo chambers now. They're not what I call proper journalists, that are just like echo chambers and repeat what they've heard. Yeah, and then and it all spills out onto your television in your living room or your bedroom or wherever you're watching it from. And I just find it and they just regurgitate the same stuff all the time.
But have we become a heartless society? Because look, my mother and father-in-law, my father-in-law's been very unwell now for over a year. Thank God he's doing okay at the moment. But they're both in their, how old are they now? They're in their, I think, are they late 80s or early 90s? They're very old, right? And the mother-in-law is actually quite fit for her age. She still does a bit of driving. She goes down to the pharmacy or the shops. And the times that she's faced with things like, "Oh, do it on your app," and she said, "Well, I haven't got a phone. I don't know how to use it.
Yeah, doesn't know how to do it.
I don't know what, I don't know how to work apps. Oh, well, tough luck. Do it. Either do it on your app or it's tough luck."
Yeah,
Now,
I totally agree. You're like me, Paul. You come from old school, old generation. We grew up in an era where there was communities, people actually gave a damn about each other. You know, you'd say hello, and
I still say good morning to
good
everyone.
morning,
Yeah.
and it's a dying breed. And I think what's caused that destruction is this survival of the fittest. You know,
Yeah.
this what's it, Darwin notion, and they've sort of
I think
slowly
it's more we're
crept in.
seeing the truth nowadays, and that's why we
Yeah.
become disheartened with our country.
Yeah,
We
and they're
see
trying to
how they're destroying it, and we
desensitise.
can't do anything about it.
Yeah, and then you've got everything on social media, and it's almost like they're trying to desensitise people as well. You know, because
Yeah.
when I grew up, you didn't have social media, you didn't have mobile phones, you know, and now you're seeing so much horrible things. Social media is good in one respect, but in another, I think it's desensitised a lot of people as well.
You're taking the humanity out of humanity.
And it's taken humanity out
Yeah.
of humanity. So yeah,
Yeah.
it's
No, I
a very
agree.
sad state of affairs. It really is.
We was out there. My wife and I was out in where was we? We was in Portsmouth a few weeks back, and there was an old lady, an elderly lady, struggling trying to get some money out of the cash point machine, and she was in tears. You know, she needed money. She's struggling. Then because she'd forgotten her PIN number, the machine kept her card, and
Oh, bless her.
you know, so we took her into the bank. You know, we helped her explain to the bank clerk what was going on. But whilst they were understanding, it was still a case of because she'd forgotten her PIN number, there wasn't. It was, how can I say, not a great deal of sympathy. It's like, oh well, it's your fault for you getting your PIN number, you know, and. I understand how it gets to these people. We're all going to get to an age where these things confuse us.
Yeah.
But look, you know, we sort of moved away a little bit from me playing script here today, but never mind because it's
But
been
you
a
know
good
what?
topic.
Kindness goes a long way.
Of course
I
it
don't care.
does.
It makes the world go round, and don't ever change. And I'm not trying to butter you up. Please don't change, Paul, because you know, we need more people like you. It's like when I speak to people just on the back, you know, some of them are really nice people, and I always show my appreciation to those people because they're a rarity nowadays. So if you do get a good one and you do get someone on the phone that really goes out of their way to help you, I always acknowledge it because I know that it's a rarity now because you're right.
Unfortunately, the majority just really don't care.
They're
there to
care
just earn a
anymore.
wage. They don't care about your circumstances. They're doing what that script tells them, and that is as far as they go.
Yeah.
Joe, I can assure you one thing. I'm far too old to be changing my ways now. I mean, you know, far too old. I'll tell you what. I'm gonna annoy everyone now. I'm gonna show you it's less than a minute, a 1 minute clip of my time in Spain this week. And this is where people are fleeing to from the UK. Have a little look at this clip. And Maya, I have to say this. Can you bloody blame them? Have a look.
Mm-hmm.
And that was
you're showing the coast there, but where were all the illegal immigrant boats?
Well, do you know what? I'll tell you something. I've never been to a more Christian country in all my life.
Well, this is what we should be like. Not we shouldn't be shouting Sharia law. What the hell's going on? Why did they leave them countries? Was it not to get away from that?
Got a bit of background noise here. I'm not sure who that is.
It was my wife shouting at me.
Okay. Steve Edwards, thank you, Steve. Join the Free Speech Union, get a free solicitor. I am a member of the Free Speech Union. It's very cheap, and I would advise everyone to join the Free Speech Union.
Yeah,
Gray, hi, Paul. Join the Free Speech Union. Protect yourselves, exactly. So he's saying the same thing. Bernadette Leach, justice will not be served until those that are unaffected are as outraged as those who are.
Yes.
Thank
Yeah.
you, Paul, for
Agree.
opening our eyes. 100% agree with that. That is a great message.
Yeah.
Epic 2000, cheers, mate. Hi, all. I say this as a lifelong atheist. Visit your local church this Christmas. Go to the Fates and Xmas dinners. It's important we stand with our community and the
I
religion
changed
that has
completely,
been,
Paul.
the backbone.
Whether
of
you
the
believe
UK.
or not, it gives you a set of moral standards to follow.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know, not like the Quran, which tells you to kill anybody who doesn't believe. You know, I'm sorry, but where's the
I find-
peaceful love and harmony in that?
I find myself going back to the church now, Paul.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
You know, I was brought. I was forced into a Catholic religion at 11 years of age, and was exposed to that. And like you, I watched my dad die. He was only 43. Give him CPR on the floor, and watched my mother die of cancer at 63, and felt abandoned by faith. But after going on the marches, Paul, meeting you down at Speaker's Corner that Sunday morning, and listening to those men down there and thinking, no, this is a war of faith now. This is actually, we need to stand up for Christian rights, Christian beliefs, Saxon beliefs, our heritage.
Yeah.
My grandchildren need me as a grandfather
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, we owe it to
But-
our grandkids, and you don't have
Yeah.
to be. You don't necessarily have to be a church-going, practicing Christian to be a cultural Christian. And the older I get, I actually, like you, James, I find myself moving towards Christianity rather than further away to it. I've realised that I'm actually more of a Christian than I knew myself.
Totally,
I didn't
Paul.
even realise it myself.
I think
I went
it's the
to
way-
the chapel on Friday. It's my dad's birthday. On my own. And it wasn't energy from the church. It was the energy from the people in there with their hope. What I felt, it wasn't the church. It was the energy of the people who still hope for good things for this country.
Yeah. And you know what, James, and everyone else on the screen right now, I think that this is why I get so upset when we have our days, our celebration days, we've had 2 or 3 now that have gone off without any problems, full of love, peaceful, and it gives everyone faith. Everyone that goes to these days comes away with the same lasting memory, how safe they felt, how unified they felt, how happy they felt, how together everyone was. It was just like
Well,
being back
wasn't
in
it
the
amazing the
1970s.
way it was all different colours
It
there?
felt like
It wasn't a gang of white
Superman
people.
going up to get energy from the sun, Paul. I got
Exactly,
energy from all the
exactly.
people around me, all the people wanting the
Exactly.
same good things for our country.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then
We're
we leave.
far right and racist. No, we're not.
Exactly. we go away from those days and we get labelled as being far right and racist. And it's really, really it's just not just wearing thin, it's becoming sickening. And it just proves to me, I mean, I never really believed in conspiracy theories. I've never been a conspiracy theorist. But I've only been in this. It's coming up a year now since I started talking about politics. And even my eyes have been well and truly opened to the things that I'm hearing, seeing,
I've only
witnessing with
just
my own
become
eyes.
used to this. I've been brainwashed by the mainstream media
I feel
all my life. I never
cheated,
believed
Paul.
that they were lying to us until my son told me a few months ago. And I've been online ever since. And the amount of things I've found, it was disgraceful. I just thought to myself, what the hell what's going on with our country?
Yeah.
We've lost it.
I
We've
feel
already
absolutely
lost our
cheated, Paul.
country.
40 years.
Yeah, and I'm the same really. I mean, I've slept walked through life thinking that the
Yeah.
government would never do anything like that to us, but they have, and they're going
I
to do it
woke up-
more and more and more.
I woke up a few years ago. I think I started on a different journey, because I used to work for a Citizens Advice Bureau, and I was very much into helping what they call the underdog, and I found it really rewarding. But then you got the political side as well. And I even noticed back then at a young age how these systems were put in place and the division that was created. And I was still asleep. Does that make sense?
Mm.
And it wasn't until I much later in life. I mean, I've been called Tim Ford Hat. I've been called all sorts of things. But I just feel that a lot of this is all by design, because it's not just happening in this country. It's happening in Western countries.
Yeah,
And it's
right
almost
across.
Yeah.
right across,
Yeah.
and it's like they're pitting the West against the East. And why are they destroying Western countries? I mean, I could understand if it was just maybe in 1 or 2, 3 countries, but it's
Every
not.
single
though.
one.
It's every single one, and you can't help but question. And I've not trusted the political system in a long time. I think a lot of them are out in it for themselves, and
Yeah.
All of them are out
their
in it for themselves.
their lips move.
That's
and
why they become a
lie.
politician. They're not there to
Yeah,
help
but-
us. They're there
They're
to
not
line
there
their
to
pockets.
help.
We're just gonna, guys. We're just gonna move on to the next topic. Let me just read this out, Simon. Thank you, Simon. Hi, Paul. Just want to say thank you to yourself, TR, Richard, Mayer, and all the others giving me the courage to start my own YouTube channel. Started it 3 weeks ago, and I've got 26 subscribers, and it's all because of all of you. Simon, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Simon, pop the name of your channel in the chat. Let's see if we can get you up to 100 subscribers before the end of this live stream. So, Simon, we need to know the name of your channel. Let's pop over there and make sure that we subscribe. Thank you, End of Days. Thank you. Appreciate that. Sums, I went for a cataract checkup and was asked, do you already have a DNR on your record? Let me just read that again.
Oh,
What, for
do not
cataracts?
resuscitate.
For cataracts, that's a basic operation.
Wow.
Wow. Oh my God.
So you just
That
kill
is-
us off. Kill us off.
Yeah.
David, did you see the pro-Palestine march into a church carrying banners where mostly
Yeah.
elderly people were worshipping? I did see that.
Disgraceful.
Absolutely disgraceful behaviour. Right, let's have a little look. The next thing I want to bring up. Oh, by the way, I'm seeing Tommy tomorrow.
Way.
So,
Wish him happy birthday, Paul. Belated happy
That
birthday.
is belated birthday.
looking forward to seeing Tommy tomorrow. Let's have a little look at the next topic, which is Norwich MP Clive Lewis. I don't know if you've seen any of you guys have come across Clive before. Let's have a little look at what the people of Norwich voted in recently.
Hi there, just thought I'd give you a quick update as I walk to work. But this Sunday, the 8th of December, all the details will be below this video. Some of us in Norwich will be gathering outside the Brook Hotel. Now that's where they keep migrants and asylum seekers who've come to this country. And we know that the far right may be turning up as well to protest, hopefully peacefully, outside the hotel. That's their right, but it's also our right as citizens of Norwich in this country to stand there and protest in support of people who come to this country looking for help. So join me and hopefully many others as we show that Norwich has a long history of welcoming strangers and that isn't going to change anytime soon. See you there.
So that's what
They're
the
not
people.
strangers, they're terrorists.
That's who the people of Norwich voted in. I wonder if they regret it. So no doubt they'll be bus loaded in a load of outsiders into the city, people that don't live there and have no connection with Norwich itself, to tell those that do live there that refugees are welcome in their hometown before leaving to go back to their own. Do I feel sorry for the people of Norwich? Well, if I'm honest, yes and no. I mean, look, they voted this bloke in. They reap what they sow. But that's not all of them, of course. And this is what you get when you put woke before your own children's futures. And by the way, this is the same Labour MP who, well, let's play you this little video of him. Watch his reaction, because they've been talking about assisted dying.
However, I have to say in this regard that when he talks about the tax gap measurement, he is talking about his government's tax gap measurement. However, I have to say in this regard that when he talks about the tax gap measurement, he is talking about his government's tax.
Shows very respectful to his own party, isn't it?
Is that him in the background, Paul? Laughing?
Yeah.
Disgusting.
You know,
The
he was
majority of them are rotten to the core.
Oh, absolutely,
They're just
absolutely.
rotten.
I mean, look.
Well, you can tell that by the way they laugh and joke about what's happening. You know what I mean? It's all funny to them. But all of us out
Paul,
here are suffering.
I'm 60 years of age. Okay, I've worked in the construction industry 45 years of my life. You think
Same here.
I'm going to respect people like that? You know, I've had to deal with real men and make them work down holes for £11, £8 an hour and watch them break their backs. To watch these parasites try and lecture me. Who do they think they are?
I was a master builder before I got the jabby.
Yeah, and this is a tweet that was out earlier on. Labour politician Clive Lewis labels everyone who disagrees with mass immigration as far right.
What
Also,
an idiot.
Clive Lewis mocking the victims of suicide when being discussed in Parliament previously. I mean, shameful behaviour.
Disgusting.
And look, if that was the guy down the pub, you'd pull him up and say, you know, rein it in. But for a guy to be sitting in Parliament, I think it's absolutely and utterly disgraceful
Exactly.
behaviour.
All of them are disgraceful the way they laugh and joke about us.
I think it's embarrassing when you look at that House of Commons and the way that they behave in there and jeering. I find it is, I just think, how have we got to a
Totally
nation
disrespectful.
society?
Do you know it's called the
where
House of Commons, but there's only one common person in there, Lee Anderson.
Yeah.
Strange that, isn't it?
But it's just like the way they jeer and they laugh and they mock at each other. I mean, it's just appalling. And I just think, how have we got to a state now in society where we've allowed that to carry on for so many years?
Well, Joe, this is a game to them. Joe, this is a game to these people. This is the problem. I've witnessed MPs that go at it hammer and tong in the House, and they'll be at the bar drinking afterwards together. It's all a facade. It's all a
facade,
game.
a game. Like
I sat and watched Batman: The Dark Knight last night, and the closing scenes, Paul, where the tide has turned, where the streets actually took the politicians to account, and they made a scene where every politician was put in front of a street court, and they're not that. They don't realise how far away they are from public disarray, Paul. People have just lost faith in them. You know.
Well, the film Demolition Man shows
parasites.
what our possible future could be with all the wokeness.
Talking about films, I'm going to try in a minute and upload. Let me just see if I'm going to be able to do this. I don't know that I am. Probably not actually. I might be able to. I'll have to get it up on YouTube. Carry on, guys. You have a chat amongst yourselves.
Yeah, if you've seen Demolition Man, you'll see there all of them are so Nancy-ish. I don't know if I can say that, but I've said it. And basically, they just fall apart. You can't have this woke ideology in our country, all the world. It just can't be happening. But
So
you're getting this all in the schools now, and it's confusing to a 30-year-old man. How is it not confusing to a child? They haven't got the intellect to actually decide what they want. And when these things are pushed on them, they think that is the normal agenda of what people should be thinking. And it's not. They've got to stop it. They've got to let the child grow as it should do. And then when it becomes an adult with an informed decision, then they can decide.
Let me read a couple of these out, guys. And I'm going to play you a little. One sec. Let me play you. Let me read a couple of these out, and I'm going to play you a clip, and then we're going to get into our probably our biggest topic of the day. Tony Keeble, thanks, Tony. 15 years ago, I got called racist for going to an EDL demo. Now those people are waking up, realising that I was right all along. Simon, thank you. I put it in the live chat but can't see it. But my YouTube channel name is Patriot Movement. So Patriot Movement, if you can get over there, guys, let's see if we can get Simon up to 100 subscribers before the end of this video. That's Patriot Movement. Now, another video I want to play you is, I did cover it last night on the live with Richard, but Dan Wootton's show last night, actually, the guests he had on there infuriated me, especially a young man called Nicholas.
I saw it.
Yeah, Nicholas Lissack, who'd managed to somehow find his way onto Sky News and was obviously reveling in that fact. I don't know why anyone would be proud of being on Sky News, but let's just watch the clip that really infuriated me, and then I've got a bit to say about it, and then I'm going to play you a video clip before the end of the show. Let me just get this up.
In Westminster, and that's why, in my view, we're seeing a lurch to the right amongst young people and an increase in support for reform. So I do wonder why they didn't bother to include that bit. Though, you know, overall, I am quite satisfied with the documentary. However, I understand the point that you're making. And I may as well just clarify, I have absolutely zero association to Tommy Robinson. I never have, nor will I ever. So I think in the case of Charlie, that was a unique case, because there certainly isn't a reformed Tommy Robinson pipeline. At least I haven't seen that. I mean, as we're well aware, the party is disassociated from Mr. Well, I mean, they never associated in the slightest, but, you know, they've made it abundantly clear that Tommy Robinson, you know, is sort of persona non grata at reform. So,
but Suzanne,
really
do you think that's the right thing? Because you have that young guy, Charlie, going on a Tommy Robinson march, and as a result, he's expunged from Reform UK. Now, there was no trouble at those marches whatsoever. It was full of patriots. I know you battled with this whole question, Suzanne, when you were within UKIP, because there has always been the debate about how close political parties should align with Tommy Robinson. But I just worry that by automatically dismissing anyone, including a young lad of 13, saying, well, you're not for us now simply because you've gone on the Uniting the Kingdom march. Personally, I don't agree with that approach.
Well, I have to correct you, Dan. I didn't battle with the whole issue of Tommy Robinson and UKIP. I was very clear where I stood. And the moment that Gerald Batten became leader and decided he wanted to associate with Tommy Robinson, that's when I left UKIP. And Nigel Farage left, I think, a few days later. So I'm afraid I do disagree with you on this. I'm totally in Nicholas's camp on this. I think Tommy Robinson is pretty much beyond the pale, really. I'm not saying he isn't always right. Even a broken clock can be right twice a day. But I don't think reform should be associating with him. I think they've absolutely made the right decision here.
Do you know what, Paul? I was brainwashed by the media. I thought Tommy was a racist until I actually looked into it myself and realised I watched every single thing. I said, he hasn't said anything at all that was racist. Nothing even close.
Rowley, just hold on 1 second there, my friend. Rich, good afternoon.
You're all right, mate.
Can you hear us okay?
Yeah.
Welcome to the show. Did you have anything on your mind in particular you wanted to get off your chest?
Not really. Just listening to what you've been saying. Like you, I've only just started following you not long ago. I knew the problems with the country for a long time, but my missus was not, I wouldn't say bury her head in the sand, but, you know, she just wanted to not want to hear it. And then I think the last couple of months she's been more vocal, and I mentioned about, she said, you know, is no one doing anything about this? I said, well, people march, people do this. So I think she wants to come marching now. She said about she wants to go, which is,
well, I think once you attend one and you realise who you're amongst and how peaceful it is, then you know you're kind of hooked. I just want to go back to Nicholas Lissack for a moment. The video that we've just watched, and I wrote this down earlier. No doubt his 30 seconds of fame on Sky TV went to his head, and he was instantly affected by the mainstream media virus. And I'm guessing that Nicholas is probably feeling a little bit silly this morning. And so he should be. Credit to Dan Wootton for standing up for Tommy. I mean, who the hell does this young man think he is to come on Dan Wootton's show and start bleating on about a man who has dedicated his life and his freedom for our cause? Who the hell does he think he is to even begin to imagine that his opinion on Tommy is even relevant? He said he wanted to make it very clear that he has zero association with Tommy and he never will have. And I'd love to know his reasons for coming out with such a cheap point-scoring statement.
Well, Paul, I don't think Tommy will be that bothered about it, to be quite honest. Who wants that sort of idiot following you?
I don't think he will. I'll just finish this, mate. And I wrote down, if this is the face of reform, then we don't want to see it. Nicholas was trying to win friends, and all he did was lose respect. So, Nicholas, if you get to watch this, let's hear your reasons for saying what you said. You're clearly a very well-educated young man, but it seems you don't have enough common sense to realise that you're going to find your comments that you made very offensive to a lot of people. Now, I know you're a young man, Nicholas, and I don't want to hammer you, but you need to know what it's like to have the spotlight put on you. Then you might understand what it feels like to be Tommy and realise and understand what he's been through. Because last night on Dan Wootton's show, I think you made yourself a bit foolish, with all due respect.
Can I interject and say something?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't trust Nigel Farage. I don't.
No.
I've never. Forget reform. I think he threw UKIP under the bus many years ago. I'm all for Ben Habib.
Same
and
here.
I feel that we need people with integrity in that House of Commons, and I'd back Ben Habib all the way, because I think what's lacking in our House of Commons is people with integrity, people that are down to earth. There's too much of this class. I don't want to be so. I think put your egos to one side. We're not going to agree on everything. That's fine, but we're adults. We can agree to disagree on a lot of things. But the thing is to be able to unite and be together and put our differences aside. Because let's face it, whether you're black, white, whatever religion you are, we're all under a personal attack on so many different levels. And we haven't got time for infighting, because I don't think this country's going to even last 5 years. The way Labour are going. And I don't care what people's differences are. I just feel like we have to stick together. We all have to be together, regardless of our differences, and unite. And I don't think Nigel Farage is the one that will do that. I do feel that Ben Habib would be.
Joe, I also think that is brilliant.
I also think that Starmer will not resign. He's got a dictatorial role now, and he will not give up that power. He will not give it up.
I think Nigel's all for Nigel.
Yeah, of course
Nigel's for himself. Nigel will do what he wants for himself and what he can get out of it. And I
Nigel
think
is a Tory in disguise.
And
isn't that the case that everyone?
I agree with Ben Habib where he says we didn't have a proper Brexit. Now, if Nigel was fully there, he wouldn't have let Boris Johnson. And Boris Johnson's got us into a lot of trouble with this signing up of this CO2 rubbish, or whatever you want to call it. He hasn't got net zero, which is all a load of B. He hasn't got integrity, and I feel he's an establishment stooge. I'm sorry. I know that they might. Lee Anderson, I'm for, because he's down to earth, and
Rupert Lowe is brilliant.
Rupert Lowe's good,
Lowe, but Nigel, no, I'm sorry, and I know that June Slater, because I follow June Slater as well. Bless her heart, I love her sense of humour.
Can I just say one thing? Did you know that Nigel owns Reform? It's not a popular party. He owns it, so it doesn't matter what your opinion is. He will overrule you. Simple as that. That's why Ben left.
Are we not just all forgetting the bigger picture here, that we all need to actually work together as one?
Yes.
Everyone's in it. Everyone is in for themselves at the end of the day. We still need a leader, And
Yeah.
I would back Trump every day of the week. And at the moment,
Oh, yeah.
I can see Nigel being a Trump. We got to get behind him. Let the other stuff go. Worry about that later. Let's get these idiots out and get our country back.
James, I would take anyone over Starmer.
Yeah.
What we want a proper leader. Now I'm gonna bring the show to a relative conclusion. Going to bring the show to a relative conclusion, not quite, but almost, with a clip from a film called Braveheart, which I'm sure
I've seen the picture.
we've all seen. Now I want everyone to listen to this next clip very, very, very carefully and work it out for yourself. There's a very powerful message here, and you can work out the characters for yourself. Right, have a listen.
So true.
There you go, guys.
Never a true word said.
You can work out in that clip who is who. But my take on it, that at the end now, that's Tommy.
That's Tommy.
And he's speaking to Nigel Farage or Ben Habib.
McCulloch.
Yeah, noble. We need nobility and integrity, and then courage, and to set our egos to one side and
Absolutely.
come together.
And all those people back in that room, all shouting and squabbling. That's the House. That's the Houses of Parliament.
Yeah.
And they're all squabbling. None of them know.
I want to follow a man. I want to follow a true man, Paul.
Yeah, I do. Someone who's got heart. Someone who's got a heart.
Someone who's got passion for us, Paul. I want to follow that.
Got a heart. Yeah. Someone who's got.
Well, I don't think Nigel Farage has got passion for us. I think he's just.
But it's a game of chess. It's a game. He's in with the parasites. He's got to play the game.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. Now, look, this is James. That's a good point, and I speak to June, who I love. June, I speak to June regularly. She's very much a Nigel person, and she is of the opinion that Nigel has to. And like you, Nigel's got. And I get it. I get that he has to play the game, but and hear me out here, gang. Right? You can only play the game to a certain degree. It doesn't matter what you say to the BBC. It doesn't matter what you say to Channel 4 or ITV or to Sky News. They are never, ever, ever going to be on side with Nigel Farage.
Yeah, but if he's not at the party, we can't get none of the cake. He's got to be at the party. If he's not, if we can't get him invited, Paul, we're all out here again just talking on video. We need to get them in there.
James, I get what you're saying. The thing is that Nigel is already in the party. There's 5 of them in the house. But you talk about invites to the party. If he doesn't invite his followers to the party, he'll never get in. And you won't win the next general election.
I totally understand you. I mean, you put me down a minute. You put me down here a minute ago because the video, I couldn't say, slap someone. They all want to slap Paul, but that don't work, does it? It just doesn't work. He's got to get in there. He's got to be cunning. He's got to be crafty. And in my opinion, that's what he's doing. He's being cunning, crafty. And yes, it looks disloyal to Tommy. I hate it. He should stand up for Tommy, But what happens when he does? He'll be out of there as quickly as...
James, I get that, and okay. So this is an interesting conversation. If anyone else
he
wants
owns reform, though.
Let me say this, James. I get what you're saying, and I agree to a large degree. There was no need for Nigel to stick up for Tommy. In fact, Tommy is very aware. I can tell you this for sure. Before the election, Tommy was very aware that any public support for him from reform would be a disaster.
Yeah, I understand that.
Tommy's a soldier.
The only thing that I don't agree with as well is the fact that guilt by association, because it's like, if it's like me, I've been on one of Tommy's demos. I don't agree with everything with Tommy, but that doesn't matter. I've been on a demo and I went there. I enjoyed it. It was welcoming. It wasn't far right. But the thing is,
the point is to have an open mind.
You have to unite. You still have to unite. And I agree with Ben Habib when he says it's not about. He was more about your followers.
Yeah.
You have to let your followers in. It's okay saying be cunning, but how long do you be cunning for before you reveal what you real?
As long as it takes when they're when they're in that circle, they need to be cunning because they're full of backstabbers up
I
there.
see what
There's not a truthful word spoken up there.
I get what you're saying to a point, and I do, but the thing is, I think where it's divisive is because people have no trust in the political system anymore, and the longer you carry
Well,
on
where it's
being
divided is we've got an innocent man sitting in jail because we've got a corrupt judicial system. We've got a corrupt establishment,
It's all
and
corrupt.
no one
I
would
totally
stand up and
agree.
say what's really going on, and that is totally corrupt. Tommy Robinson should not be in jail.
Totally agree.
It's only
but
citizen journalists nowadays that tell you the truth, unfortunately.
How simple is it? Yet
I would
the
far rather
judicial
follow
system
someone-
is so corrupt.
Yeah, I would far rather follow someone who's got courage and who's
Yeah,
courageous.
I'd follow Tommy. If he went for
who's
power, I'd go
courageous.
for it.
Every day of the week.
Here's the
Yeah,
thing. Here's the thing. I think all we ask for, I think all everyone asks for, is that when it comes to Tommy and us lot, is that if you can't say anything nice,
don't say anything at all.
don't say anything at all.
Yeah.
Paul, I got assaulted on the 11th of March. I was at a reform meeting up in Brentwood. Okay, I was sitting talking to. There was 14 people there. I think I was the youngest. I'm 60, and out of the blue, two men, bulldogs, two Lenny McLeans, kicked me all over the place. You think reform would back me up? The police, eventually, I forced them to chase these two men down, okay? After numerous letters and interviews at my home, they finally said, okay, they've pleaded guilty and they're going to get a communal sentence. And I said, no, I'm not happy with that. I want them in court. They said, well, no, because they're going to countercharge against you for racism. I said, well, bring it on. I can defend myself in court. They shut me down and nothing. I can't even walk now.
When was this?
11th of March.
This year?
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. I can see
The whole Reform Party know about it. Nothing.
Well, I can see your
Well,
distress.
I'm actually a reform member, but I wish I'd never joined, to be honest.
Well, look, you know, here's the thing. Look,
I cancel mine.
What we need someone that can stop all this nonsense and unite us. And it can be done. It can be done. But we have to have the right person in charge. Without the right person, there will be no unity. If there's no unity, we will not win our country back. And I can't tell people say to me, there was a gentleman in the chat before we started the show that said, please don't talk about Nigel today. Well, that's a good idea. You know what? Let's ignore it like we've ignored immigration and it'll all go away.
Yeah. You have to talk about things that are uncomfortable sometimes, and you're not always going to agree on everything. But
that's what freedom of expression's all about.
That's it, freedom of expression, and it's brilliant. It's lovely. It's the best thing
I don't think any of us are going to know anything until in a couple of years when 2-3 years when we've got the elections.
One at a time, guys. Yeah, go on. Sorry, carry on. So carry on, Rich.
I don't think we'll truly know his intentions until it comes up to the elections. I mean, you can discuss what he's doing, if he's playing the game, if he's not, if it's egos, but the only way you're going to find out, I suppose, is when it comes to voting, and then everyone will see what his true colours are. But
Nigel's already gone back on one thing.
You've got Labour, you've got Conservative, and then you've got Reform. I mean, like you said, you're going to vote Reform. I mean, you're not going to vote for the other pair. So you can talk about it, and I suppose the proof's in the pudding.
We need to unite the clans.
We'll see next May. We'll see next May at the council elections. We'll
I
see
just-
next May at the council elections.
Yeah,
That's
they're
what
very
we'll-
important. Very
Yeah,
important.
yeah, that's what I mean.
That-
You're gonna have
That'll
to
give
wait
us some
till
indication.
proofs in the pudding.
Reform and UKIP have both asked me to throw me name in the hat for it. But
There's a little saying: truth lives a horrible life, but always survives a lie.
That's true.
Yeah, the truth. What's
And,
the
and,
saying?
and,
Truth shall
and the truth
prevail.
is always gonna come out in the end. But I think you
No
just gonna have to,
politician has
me
ever
free,
put
as they
food on
say.
my table. No
but
politician
they
has
always
ever
get.
put
What I
food
mean
on
is
my
they always
table.
get found out, don't they? They always get found out. Whether Nigel's right or wrong, whether we agree or disagree, in the end, he's going to get found out. Whether he's the right man or not, you're going to find out. You know,
But he's
you've got
already
Keir
gone back on
Starmer,
mass
no one knew his name
deportations.
for 14 years, and now he's in charge. Everyone's found out what a scumbag he is.
Yeah.
Right, guys,
Whether you
I'm
can say
gonna,
that or not, I don't know.
guys, I'm gonna start thinning out the crowd now because we're coming towards the end of the show, and I want to give the people that haven't had much chance to say the chance to do so before we go. So, Rowley and James, I'm going to let you both go. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Pleasure to meet you.
Please come on another time. Really enjoyed it. Thank you so
No
much.
problem.
See you
Be
later,
safe,
Rowley.
everyone.
Cheers,
Be
James.
safe.
Keep your chin up, brother. Keep your chin up. So we've got Jeff, Joe, and Rich before we end the show. Is there anything in particular that you wanted to?
No, we need more people like you, Paul, who are courageous, who believe in people, who want to unite people regardless of their background. That's what we need. We need it desperately. And I'm sorry if I wasn't trying to cause any division earlier or anything, but I feel personally, Ben reminds me a bit of you. He's not afraid to speak out. I know he's not in the same position as Nigel. I agree with a lot of what June says. I can understand her, where she's coming from. I think what she does is fantastic. I just don't think he's the man. That's just my opinion, and no one has to agree with me, and I'm fine with that. But
I think at the moment,
I feel
at the moment, I think it's
integrity.
at the moment, I think it's just too soon. It's just too soon at the moment, in my personal. And it's just one thing I want to push back against on Paul.
Yeah.
Your video of Spain. The UK is a beautiful country.
Oh, it is.
I've travelled the length and breadth of the UK, and there's some stunning sights. So
beautiful.
because I'm never going to be able to go to Spain as much as I'd like to. I'd like to spend my days there. It's here. So that's it.
Yeah. Well, that listen, look, you're right. The UK is the most beautiful country in the world in many respects. I think the point of the video was to show you why people had moved out there, and they're saying that they're afraid about social media, etc., etc. Who can blame them?
I'd go. Seriously, I'd go.
David,
68 now. I want to end my life in sunshine and blue skies, and
David says we need someone with a good friendship with Trump. That will be very handy. I agree. Dazzy boy, thank you. Sorry, just got here. Anyone else pleased with the proportional representation bill got passed? Maybe the next election will be better. I'll have to catch up with that after the end of today's show. Right, guys, it's been an interesting one. Always nice to have you all to myself instead of me usual more well-known guests. Thanks for coming on, everyone. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of messages again come through. I'll have a read of them afterwards. Have a good weekend, everyone. That's coming up. I'm off to see Tommy tomorrow. I will be doing a report. Let you know, give you the very latest update. I will send him everyone's love and best wishes. And I'll be back very, very soon.
I have met.
Thank you for having me on the show, Paul, and keep up the good work.
Absolute pleasure.
Let's not lose hope, yeah?
Oh, never lose hope. We'll never give up. Right, have a great weekend, everyone. See you later.
Thank you. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.